Hey everybody, my name is Erin, and today I'm going to be bringing you another discussion of series that I'm reading and not finished. There's a lot, so there's going to be a few videos in this. Today I'm going to be talking about almost police procedurals. Now I say this because the characters in these are not police detectives, but they may be private investigators. I've got forensic anthropologists and private investigators. That's what I have. I stuck with the more serious ones, and I left out the private investigators that you'll find in cozy mysteries. First up, I'm going to talk about Dennis Lehane and his Kenzie and Gennaro series. I have Sacred sitting on my shelf. This is the next book for me to read. I've read 3 books in this series. The first book in the series is A Drink Before the War, and these are all set in Boston, where Kenzie and Gennaro are a male-female pair of private investigators. They grew up together, they have the same friends kind of thing. The most recent one was published in 2010. And they're just, I like them. I love his writing. You'll probably recognize his name from Shutter Island and Moonlight Mile, all those kind of things, all those books. There was also a movie produced from one of this series, actually, from the Kenzie and Gennaro series. And that movie was Gone Baby Gone, and it starred, my tongue doesn't work. It starred Casey Affleck. I watched it and it was a really good book. And I think I'd read the Gone Baby Gone book at that point, and it was just so well done. Next I have Reverend Claire Ferguson and Russ Van Alstyne. Claire Ferguson is a minister who is a war vet. She was in the war. I believe she was, it's been a while since I've read this. I believe she was actually a chaplain in the war, but I could be wrong. She may have been a helicopter pilot. Yes, those two things should not be confused. And Russ Van Alstyne is a police detective, but the books focus much more on Claire Ferguson as a character than they do, I felt, on Russ Van Alstyne. There are 8 books in the series. I've read 1. I just started it this year. They're written by Julia Spencer Fleming. The first book in the series, okay, so it was written by Julia Spencer Fleming. The first book in the series is In the Bleak Midwinter, and the most recent book was published in 2013. Hercule Poirot. Everyone has heard of Hercule Poirot. He's one of Agatha Christie's most famous creations. Between him and, you know, the old lady, wow. Let's pretend I said the right name there. There are 39 books in this series, and I've read 18. Now, when you look on Goodreads, I think they've got something like 46 books published in this series, but a few of them are short story collections, and a few of them are published, like, in the 90s. This was meant to be the final Poirot mystery. It's Curtain, and this one was definitely written and published by Agatha Christie. It was published in 1975. The first book in the series was Mysterious Affair at Styles, and I actually started this series at that point, but since then I have been reading them out of order. And of course, Agatha Christie, I mean, these books have been everywhere. There's been a TV series, there's been movies, I believe there's Murder on the Orient Express is currently being made into a movie, so that's going to be awesome to see, and there's just, yeah, Hercule Poirot is a definite favorite when it comes to TV. Next, I've got Nero Wolfe. These are a series of books, very short books, written by not Nero Wolfe. Nero Wolfe is the character. They're written by Rex Stout. It says that right up there at the top, Rex Stout. There are 47 books in this series. Luckily, they're short, and I've read 10 of them. The first book in the series is Fer de Lance, and the most recent book was published in 1985. However, the books are all set in like the 30s, I believe. I'm not sure if the later ones are set later, but I don't think they are. And they are told by Archie, who is Nero Wolfe's assistant. And she's fantastic. There was a TV series, and this is how I got introduced to Nero Wolfe. Before I even knew there was a series of books, there was a TV series, and I want to say it was on A&E, and I used to watch it faithfully all the time. And it starred Maury Chaykin as Nero and Timothy Hutton as Archie. And let me tell you, after reading the books, those were perfect perfect casting decisions. And it's just, when I read the books, I totally see those two characters, and they did such a good job of hitting all of those small little details about the characters. Next up, I've got another series that I do not have on my shelf, and this is Gideon Oliver. It's a series written by Aaron Elkins, and there are 18 books in the series. I've read 2. He is a forensic anthropologist, and the books are set around the world as he travels. I believe he works for a university, which seems to be common for the forensic anthropologists, and in books. He works at a university, and then he gets called to consult on crime cases that are, for whatever reason, they can't get enough evidence to determine cause of death, age, that kind of thing, so they call in the forensic anthropologist to give them that information. The first book in this series was The Fellowship of Fear, and the most recent book was published in 2016, so I assume there's one coming in 2017, but I'm not sure. And it looks like in the 80s there was actually a TV series based on this on ABC, but it doesn't look like it was very long-lived. And this is the Kate Shujak series by Dana Stabenow. There are 21 books in this series, and luckily, again, these are fairly short and easy reads. I love this series, though. It is based on Kate Shujak, who is a Native American PI in Alaska. And it's funny, so I found these at the thrift store in Calgary, at a Goodwill, and I've never seen them in any other thrift store. So it's like one of those things where you have to go to all of them, because you never know what you're going to find. Anyway, she's a Native American private investigator in Alaska. There is a lot of information about Native American traditions and history and environmental issues in Alaska, which is fascinating. The first book in the series was A Cold Day for Murder, and the most recent book was published in 2017, so this is a series that is ongoing. Cormoran Strike by Robert Galbraith. This is a series of books based on a PI in London and his assistant. There are 3 books currently, and I have read all 3. Woohoo! Caught up! There is a 4th one being developed, written, and published, but there are no dates on that, as far as I could tell, and it's J.K. Rowling is our author on this one. The first book in the series was Cuckoo's Calling, and the most recent was published in 2015, so hopefully the 4th book in the series will be out soon. And in other exciting news, there is a TV series, and I don't know if it's already on TV in Britain or if it's coming soon, but that is pretty exciting. Obviously J.K. Rowling writes made-for-TV characters. Next up, another TV series. This is popular. Temperance Brennan, a book series. Let me pick up the book. Temperance Brennan by Kathy Reichs. There are 18 books in this series, and I've read 8 of them. So again, I've read a good number of these. This is the 9th in the series, and this is the book series that Bones is based on. And I love Bones. I actually started watching it before I started reading the books. She is a forensic anthropologist, and we learn in these books that there are actually only 50 board-certified forensic anthropologists in North America, which is amazing because I've talked about 2 of them already in this video. Finally, yet another forensic anthropologist. 3, count them, 3 out of the 50 have book series. Just kidding, we know they're fictional. Body Farm, the Body Farm series by Jefferson Bass. There are 10 books in the series. I've read 2. I just started the series this year, or like December-ish last year, so it's been a year that I've been reading this series, and I've read 2 books. Book 1 is Carved in Bone. I am reading the series out of order, so I haven't read that one yet. The most recent book was published in 2016, and Dr. Bill Brockton is a forensic anthropologist in Tennessee. He works for a university, and the premise here is that the university that he works for has this body farm, and what they do is they basically study decomposition in various conditions. So body decomposition in various conditions, so they can help figure out how long somebody's been dead. Creepy. Who wants that job? So it's basically a piece of land with a bunch of dead bodies rotting on it. Appetizing. So, yeah, it's fascinating. So in a lot of cases, like, a crime will happen, they'll call in Dr. Brockton, and Bill Brockton goes out and he goes to the scene of the crime and he finds out the conditions, so weather conditions, all of that, and then he tries to replicate them in the wild, and to see in the wild, in his body farm, to see sort of what happens with that. So that is Body Farm, and as you can tell, I like a good mystery. I have a lot of mystery series. I mean, there's going to be more series you guys hear about, but these are the sort of police officer investigative adjacent books. And they're not police officers, but they're filling an investigative role in the very same way in a professional capacity. Absolutely recommend all of these. I'm still reading them. I mean, I've started DNFing series that I don't like, so if I'm talking about them and I'm not saying in a video that I've DNF'd these, it means I'm still reading them, and they're books I enjoy. Thank you again for watching. Let me know if I've missed any. I know someone brought up the Bones series, the Kathy Reich series, when I did my first police procedurals video, so it's hard to make that distinction for me, and it probably is a police procedural, so I just didn't want to have like an hour-long video talking about all my police procedurals, because there's a lot. But yeah, if you think I've missed any, if there's a series that you think I should be reading that's based on dead bodies being carved up, or private investigators who are sort of professional private investigators, yeah, I would love to hear about it. Other than that, let me know in the comments. I will talk to you guys later. Bye!